Today is September 18, 2025. Every Saturday I work security for the Edgewater Mutual Aid Network. Every Saturday I watch people line up outside the Edgewater Presbyterian Church building. Every Saturday I see parents leading their little children by the hand, hoping for a few bags of food to get through the week. And every Saturday I think to myself, our nation's selfishness perpetuates this need. This is the wealthiest nation in the world, the wealthiest in human history, and yet every Saturday, families still stand in line for food. Now, if you stood with me on a Saturday morning, you'd see the reality of hunger in America right here in Chicago's Edgewater neighborhood. Families, Black, Latino, Asian, immigrant, refugee, white, working, poor, all gathered in line. Some parents are juggling jobs and kids. Some are elders on fixed income. Some are new arrivals who left everything behind in search of safety here in America. The need is so great that lines sometimes wrap around the block on Bryn Mawr Avenue and Kenmore Avenue. And inside, volunteers pack bags of rice, beans, canned vegetables, bread, and fresh produce trucked in from grocery stores or grown in community gardens. It is generosity at work, but also a reminder that generosity is filling the cracks left by government neglect. Now, this isn't new for Edgewater. In the 1970s, as jobs left, costs rose, and families struggled, local faith communities came together to act. Christian churches, Jewish congregations, and Muslim neighbors said, "We cannot look away." From that collaboration, Care for Real was born. Edgewater Presbyterian Church was one of those founding congregations, working side by side with synagogues and mosques. They built a food pantry that still operates today, 50 years later. But they've outgrown those original spaces on the second floor of Edgewater Presbyterian Church where those first food distribution lines started. And Care for Real is not a small venture. It serves about 1,060 neighbors every single week. Over the last fiscal year, it provided food to more than 10,000 individuals through 33,000 visits. At its Edgewater site alone, around 5,800 people a month come through the doors. That's not statistics on a page. That's parents, that's elders, that's children. That's neighbors who would otherwise go without. Now, the name was chosen carefully, Care for Real, because the need is real, the hunger is real, the dignity required to respond is real. But here's the painful truth. After 50 years, the need has not gone away. It's only grown. And why is that? Why do families still stand in food lines in the wealthiest nation on earth? Here's why. Because the systems we live under were built by colonization and empire. Colonization was not just about stealing land. It was about creating an economy of extraction. Indigenous peoples were dispossessed. Africans were enslaved. Immigrants, like my own family, were exploited for labor. The wealth always went upward. It never went back down. That structure didn't end when colonies declared independence. It carried over into modern systems. Now it lives in wage inequality, in generational poverty, in neighborhoods stripped of opportunity. Housing has always been tied to power, redlining, discriminatory lending, urban renewal that bulldozed communities, public housing deliberately disinvested in, until families were forced into instability. Homelessness is not an accident. It's policy. And hunger? Hunger in America is not about scarcity. It's about access. We grow enough food to feed everyone. But empire's logic still controls distribution today. Profit first, people second. That is why grocery stores abandon poor neighborhoods. That is why farmers are crushed by debt while children go hungry. That is why food pantries like Care for Real or Edgewater Mutual Aid still have lines stretching out the door. It repeats itself again and again and again. Some lives are disposable, some lives hoarded, some lives forgotten. Now the faces change, the names change, but the logic of empire stays the same. And yet, there is always resistance. In Edgewater, that resistance has been Edgewater Mutual Aid Network. It's been Care for Real. In every food distribution, that resistance is there. In every congregation that says, we will not abandon our neighbors, that resistance is alive. For every community grower, community garden grower, that picks the produce off of those vines, out of those plots of land, and brings it over to Edgewater Mutual Aid and Care for Real, that is resistance. But charity cannot replace justice. If we want to spin the numbers downward, if we want to shorten the lines instead of watch them grow, we need systemic change. We need laws that reflect our values, not just band-aids that cover up wounds. But what does that mean? What does that look like? Here's what it means. Universal housing guarantees. We need massive investment in affordable housing, rent caps, and tenant protections. We need living wages, a federal minimum wage tied to the actual cost of living, and protections for unions. We need universal health care, so no one chooses between medicine and groceries. We need expanded nutrition programs, and that means universal free school meals, stronger SNAP and WIC programs. Those same SNAP and WIC programs that were just recently cut by our Congress in Washington, D.C. We need progressive taxation. Corporations and billionaires finally paying their fair share, and wealth redirected to public good. Do you realize that a lot of our biggest corporations in the United States do not pay any taxes? Yet you and I do. You and I, regular people, do. And we need to end the criminalization of poverty. And that means repealing laws that target people for being homeless, for sleeping outside, for surviving. And I hate to say it. I hate to see it. We are creating more laws to criminalize poverty now than we did just before this new administration took over at the federal level. And for all of that I just mentioned, we need politicians who will act, not with sound bites, but with courage. We need politicians who refuse to criminalize poverty. We need politicians who understand that food pantries exist because government has failed and who work to close that gap. We need politicians who stand with workers, not corporations, with neighborhoods, not lobbyists. We need politicians who are bold enough to say, and aren't scared of this administration, who are bold enough to say out front, colonization created this inequality, and justice requires undoing it. Not politicians who offer sympathy and photo ops, but those who legislate dignity into reality. Every Saturday, I stand outside with families who deserve better. Every Saturday, I remind myself food lines should not have to exist at all. Every Saturday, I remember we have the power to change all of this. Care for Real was born out of compassion and faith. Edgewater Mutual Aid Network was born out of necessity, like all the other mutual aid organizations in this city and across the nation. But now, the work must be bigger. Now, we need a nation that chooses compassion not only in charity, but in law. Homelessness and hunger persist because empire still lives among us. But we can break that cycle. If we choose compassion over selfishness, justice over exploitation, dignity over greed, and maybe then, just maybe, families will stop lining up every Saturday